Hello, everybody. This is Demetrius Curry coming to you with W Squared AV Talk, another episode of Financially Fit Fridays. For those that are just new to us, I'm going to also join on Instagram, and we are going live on Instagram as well. Want to welcome you guys to this platform, and if this is your first time with us today, then you are in for a treat because we're going to talk about a few things that you will absolutely love. And here we go. We are absolutely going live right now. Okay. Yes. Welcome, Instagram as well. So, thank you guys so very much for joining us today. Like I said, this is Demetrius Curry. I am coming to you today with W Squared AV Talk. And we're going to also be talking about real estate. Okay. We want to talk about some real estate. And if this is your first time joining us, we usually do Financially Fit Fridays every Friday on your lunchtime to make sure we get some really great nuggets, right? We want to make sure that we get some great nuggets here and that we're able to help you with some things that you really are trying to do in your business, right? I'm adjusting a few things just right here so we can get the data that we need. Yeah. So I wanted to also talk to you guys about real estate and cash flow properties, right? Cash flow properties and why it's important as a real estate investor to have those type of properties in your portfolio. Okay. And one of the things that we've had this week alone, we get quite a few people that ask us about certain types of real estate and what makes sense for them, right? So before we do that, though, let me give you a quick introduction of myself. I am Demetrius Curry. I am the president of Inspired for Greatness Lending. You can find us at inspired2lend.com. And in addition to that, I am also an author and a coach. And I also teach a money making hidden money course for women boss ladies that are trying to learn how to get involved with real estate, how to actually purchase real estate in their business names, and to create other streams of income in some form or fashion where they'll have cash flow working in their favor without them having to do really hard work on their own, right? So we want to make sure that we can come to you today and talk about some of the things that people have been asking about this week in particular, right? So let's get started. Let's get started. We're here only for about 15 minutes. And I'm telling you, a lot of times when I come on here and do a live, we put a lot of information in that 15 minutes. So bear with me. Make sure that you go back and replay this. If you miss anything, it is all going to be for you available on Instagram, on YouTube as well. Okay, so we want to make sure that you are getting all the nuggets. Do not miss one piece of data. Don't miss one piece of data. And then also join us and follow us on Instagram as well at Demetrius_Curry. We put a lot of videos out there as well. So let's just jump on into it. Okay. So when we're talking about real estate, I am also, like the president of InspiredToLend.com, and I handle commercial real estate lending. We work with over 100 different financial institutions to negotiate contracts for our buyers, okay? Those people that are looking to purchase and to refinance, renovate, or just find working capital within their business, right? So today, because real estate is such a broad spectrum of what we do cover, I really want to talk to you specifically about cash flow properties, okay? Cash flow properties. So what is a cash flow property? Well, a cash flow property is one of those things where you have bought a piece of real estate in your business name. You are the landlord of that particular property. You have put in tenants to that property to actually pay for their rents, okay? And you have created what we call landlord contracts with that particular tenant, right? Now, when you have a landlord contract, and it may be a long-term rental, it may be a short-term rental, or it may even be a multi-unit rental property. But we're going to talk about the differences between all of those today, okay? And so just to give you a broad spectrum of what a cash flow property is, you're talking about possibly getting a landlord contract with that particular client. and that client is agreeing to pay you a certain amount of rents for a certain amount of time. Okay, even if it's a short-term rental and it's like a day posting, or maybe just a rent for the weekend, or possibly just for an event or for a conference. Sometimes short-term rentals can end up being a little bit long-term if you have someone that's trying to book you for a whole month because they're going to be in town, right? But with all of that being said, that landlord contract, that four walls of the contract is so, so important. And I know you guys have, for those who have listened to me before and have listened to our previous recordings with one of our attorneys, Miss Christina Renteria, we talked about the four walls of the contract being important. Those one of those important documents that we talked about on that segment. So if you missed it, make sure you go back to W Squared AV Talk, re-listen to that segment on documents that's important inside of your business and being a real estate agent or even being a real estate investor, okay? But going beyond that, when you're dealing with cash flow properties, one of the things that you have to have in place is your rules and regulations for your property, okay? Your rules and regulations for your property. And why is that important? Because you have to know if that particular tenant is going to be best for you, if that tenant is going to follow your rules and regulations, and if they're not going to follow those rules and regulations, then you have to have some disclaimers, you have to have some warranty information in there, you have to have some penalties of things that will happen if they do not follow the rules of your property, right? So anyway, those are cash flow properties. So if you are a real estate investor, let's say that you are an investor for the very first time. And I've worked with investors that have done it for the first time and for those that are very seasoned into investing. Maybe they have short-term rentals already in their portfolio. Possibly they have some long-term rentals, even apartment complexes already in their portfolio, right? So, but even with those, every single transaction is different, guys. Every transaction is different, right? So that's why we want to make sure that when you're working with someone like me, who is a lending broker, who actually goes to the back for you to the financial institutions and say, hey, this is a great project. This is a great deal. You definitely want to finance this person, right? You definitely want to finance this person because the deal makes sense. The property makes sense. The cash flows of what they're able to get for this particular property with their tenant makes sense, right? So let's jump into something real quick about the difference between these type of properties. So short-term rentals. Short-term rentals, and a lot of you listen to a lot of the things that you see out there for Airbnbs and Verbos, those are considered short-term rentals. When you have someone come in and they stay at your property for a specific amount of time, they may book you for a weekend, they may book you for a day, you know, now you have them coming in and now they're renting your space for that time, and then they're actually leaving and exiting. But guess what? Even if you are a landlord of a short-term rental, do you know that is a cash flow property that can be amazing in your portfolio, guys? Amazing in your portfolio. Let me give an example of just one short-term rental that we were able to finance for one of our clients recently. Okay, so you're talking about a small home, maybe $100,000, $115,000 in purchase price. It wasn't a very big one. It was like $115,000 in purchase price, right? With that purchase, right, they were able to finance it in their business name. We verified all of their documentation. We made sure that their formations was correct. We sent everything over to the lenders. We actually went out there and made the lenders bid for this person's business, right? And in doing so, we were able to get them financed. When we got them financed, they found a tenant immediately to actually start booking them, right? Right after they start getting in there. So this is something that you call like the BRRRR method. I know you guys have heard of the BRRRR method, probably the BRRR. And if you have not, it actually is abbreviations for buying a particular property, okay? Renovating the property, renting it out, refinancing it, and then guess what? Repeating the whole process. So that's what that BRRRR method means. So this particular client was able to use some of those same same methods by putting in some renovations, some very, very minor renovations to this property, maybe some changing in the floors, maybe some new fixtures into the kitchen, maybe some new countertops and painted some of the old cabinets, made it look nice and fresh, right? But in doing so and making it nice and fresh, they were able to get in people that love this property. Guess why? Because it was in a great location. It was near the interstate. It was near downtown, all around the properties that you can enjoy. And even some of the events of the city was easy to get to, all the great things that you need to know about putting an Airbnb together or a verbal property together, making sure it's accessible to so many different things, right? So with them getting this property, we financed it for them. They were able to get not just a great rate, but you're talking about $700-800 a month, maybe in their mortgage. But would you believe if I told you that we got a testimony from them not even 2 weeks ago that ever since we did this property for them, back in last summer around July, August timeframe, they have been booked every single month, making more than $4,000 to $5,000 in their short-term rental per month. You're talking about a 4,000 plus profit per month just in a short-term rental. That's a cash flow property, guys. That is a significant cash flow property. And that's what we're talking about as far as creating real estate in your portfolio that will help you with that type of cash flow coming back into your business, right? Let's talk about long-term rental. Long-term rental is when you have someone inside of your property when they're for a long, extended amount of time. Let's say that you're doing a 12-month contract with them, right? A 12-month contract. And when you do a 12-month contract or even further, then that means that particular tenant is going to be renting your home for a long period of time and you're going to be their landlord, right? That's also the same type situation as far as making sure you secure your financing with them and having that cash flow must be there. Now, what does that mean? That means that the mortgage that you have on that property is less than what you're actually renting the property for. So you can have a profit, right? And so the banks look at that as a cash flow property and they even calculate it out to see what your DTI would be. They want to know, are you going to make some money on this property? Does it make sense for them to finance it for you, right? Those are the things that you have to keep in consideration. And we help you do that when we're looking at properties with you. We ask, we get an appraisal done. We even ask for those particular type of rent assessments to be done in the area through the appraisers to get an idea of whether that property would make sense to even lease it out and how much you can make in profit per month. But that's a cash flow property. Okay. Now, also keeping in mind, you're talking about multifamily units. Multifamily units are properties sort of like that you've probably seen a lot of duplexes, triplexes, five doors, quads. You need to make sure you know that when you have a multi-unit property, you have multiple tenants in that property. Guess what, guys? That is mad cash flow real estate for you. So I want to go over those different types of investments that you can put into your portfolio as a cash flow property, as a landlord, and as a real estate investor. And why does that make sense to you? Let me explain something to you. It is easier to get a commercial property financed in your business name than it is to get a personal property financed in your personal name. And we're probably going to have to do a part two to this. We're probably going to have to do a part two to this because I know we have a good 15, 16 minutes to give you this data. But when it comes to financials, when the banks are looking at your financials of the business, they're not really considering how much you're making inside of your real estate business. What they're considering is how much will that property make in cash flow. And if that property is assessing and has the appraised value for what you're paying for it. That's it. If you get the right type of investing, funding opportunity to get that particular property, then what you're looking at is that, hey, does that property make sense appraised wise? How much you're asking for me to pay for that property as far as the purchase price, does it make sense for the appraised value? And if it makes sense, How much can I rent this property out for above and beyond what I'm paying in mortgage? That makes your project a winner. Okay, that makes your project a winner. And I want to give you a quick testimony of my own of being a landlord. Okay, so my husband and I, we first started doing real estate, buying properties, I want to say 2009, 2010. And we have a property in South Carolina that has been amazing for us. And we started off in the long-term rental space. And so in the long-term rental space, we had a physician and also his wife staying in one of our properties that we moved out of when we moved back to Alabama. And let me tell you, that particular property has been amazing because we were able to not only put in the right tenant, but that particular tenant has always paid us on time. And this is why I tell you it's important to have the right property management company. Our property management company has been amazing. And I absolutely love them because I never hear from them. I never hear from them. They actually told me, they said, Miss Curry, you don't have to call every month to check on the house. I promise you everything is fine. But yes, because I'm one of those. I'm like, is everything okay? But I had to learn how to trust and have a property management company that will actually look after my property and make sure that it is actually doing what it needs to do. And the tenants are doing what it needs to do. So in a matter of 4 years, I say the first 4 years of us having that property, I probably heard from our landlord management company maybe twice in 4 years. I've always just seen direct deposits for the lease being paid on time and things of that nature. They contacted me 1 or 2 times just to say, hey, there was a rainstorm, there was a windstorm, some of the shingles came off. We went ahead and replaced it replaced the shingles ourselves. Just want to let you know that on your next direct deposit, the amount of the $350 that we use to replace those shingles and to do a little paint touch up around the trim will come out of your lease payment. And I'm like, okay, absolutely fine. Is everything fixed? Everything's good. The tenant's happy. Moving on. And so that's what you really want. If you're going to be a hands-off landlord and you're going to be a manager and things of that nature, you want to make sure you assess a really, really good management company for your business. Okay, a really good management company for your business. And then you want to also make sure that the tenant is happy. How do you find a good management company? You have to vet them. You have to look at the reviews. You have to ask other people that have used them. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation. So, anyway, I wanted to come by and just give you some quick nuggets, some tidbits. I know this is a lot in 15 minutes, but also keep in mind that we do teach these things in a real in-depth course. Okay, our course is the money course, it's the hidden money course, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware how to get to that. We're going to add the information in the comment section here for you to get involved with the hidden money course, especially if you are a woman business owner or possibly want to get into real estate. This is your opportunity to get in on that particular course. We do walk you through everything on that course as far as your personal credit, how to make sure you get the right interest rates, your business credit, business plans, and then also creating working capital so you don't have to use your own money outside of your house to start investing. Okay, so thank you guys so very much for being here with me today. I'm so excited that we have the opportunity to talk to you. But if you are a real estate investor, remember, and you're trying to figure out how to get involved, we need to start looking at what type of, temperature you have. Are you looking for something that's going to be long-term, like a long-term rental? Are you really looking for something that's going to be more short-term, which you can make faster cash, sort of like a short-term rental? Or are you in the fix and flip game? If you're in the fix and flip game where you want to buy, purchase, you want to go ahead and fix it up, you want to go ahead and flip it and sell it real quick and things of that nature and get that lump sum cash right then. Also, those are opportunities to get a good cash flow coming into your business at a quicker amount of time. Okay. I'm so appreciative you guys. Make sure that you connect with us on Instagram at Demetrius_Curry. Also, get involved with the Hidden Money course. It is an on-demand course that we offer online, virtually, and you can do it in your own time. But we will have modules, we'll have training seminars, we'll have live segments, we'll also have resources that you can click on in that particular course to make sure you are having a step-by-step approach of how to get involved in the real estate game. Okay. Thank you so much for being here with me. This has been yet another segment of Financially Fit Fridays, and I can't wait to see you guys. Hey, thank you so much. So informative. Hey, Miss Latondra, thank you so much for being here with us. She is one of the hottest real estate realtors out there. We got to make sure we get her chimed in here in the Montgomery area. Thank you for joining in with us today. Yes, Miss April, thank you so much for watching. If you would please add that link there for the Hidden Money course. We're getting a couple chimes on Instagram for that. So thank you so very much. I'm excited to work with each and every one of you. This is not just the beginning, guys. This is a process. It does take time to get into the real estate market. However, if you do it one step at a time, do it one step at a time, guys. You're able to get your formation paperwork together. We will look at your formation paperwork to make sure that it is a set where it needs to be for the state, and we'll go from there. Okay, we'll go from there. All right. On the next Financially Fit Friday next weekend, we will have none other than Miss Ty Boone with us from the nonprofit segment. She will be talking to us about getting funded in your nonprofit and how to do it the correct way. Yeah, so it's not just about profitability companies. Nonprofits out there are also looking for ways to get their businesses and their organizations funded properly. So we're going to bring that segment to you as well. Okay. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye-bye.